Episode 3, United Sessions. I'm Lukas Cash. He's David Carl. We are so pleased to be joining you on this lovely Monday night for just another excellent recording and conversation time with people that we love that are a part of this family. And Dave, I would guess the theme of tonight would be the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry.
Yeah, we had some really exciting guests lined up, and then we ended up with our moms. Yeah.
Oh, come on, David. They don't deserve that. They bailed us out.
No, I'm excited to have them on. Really, really excited to have them on. Literally, Lukas, you and I talked about this before. Nobody more responsible for this podcast existing than them, because without them, we don't exist in many ways. So super excited to have them on to talk about life, to talk about being a mom, to talk about my mom's extensive soccer knowledge. She lives and breathes the game.
Right.
It's her favorite thing in the entire world. I'm being very sarcastic, but we're going to have fun.
We're going to have a lot of fun, and I don't think there's anything more appropriate we could do on International Women's Day than celebrate the two most foundational women in our lives. And so we're going to talk with them. We're going to hear their stories. I think it's a very interesting concept. Oftentimes, we just look at our moms and just think, well, they were just put on earth to be my mom. But they've lived rich lives. They've done amazing things for this globe, and it's going to be wonderful to hear their story. And then, of course, United Sessions wouldn't be complete without a ridiculous game at the end. So we'll certainly play that. Before we go to our first break, Dave, let's get the first order of housekeeping out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Important. We are proud members of the Borellis Podcasters Guild. We love them. They love us, mostly because we both love local. We love New Mexico. We support them. They support us. They are a great, wonderful group of individuals who put together some wonderful podcasts, and we're proud to be part of that each and every day. You can check them out on social media at Borellis Podcasters Guild. And then in addition to that, if you could help us out, rate the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, review the podcast. That's very helpful for us. 5 stars on Apple iTunes helps more people see what we're doing. And we talk about a heck of a lot more than soccer, as you can tell by what we're going to be doing today. What we've done for the first 2 episodes as well. It's about community first. Always has been, always will be. So we want to get that word out. So if you could give us a rating, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. And big kudos to the New Mexico United family and the supporters of this podcast. It's a small accomplishment, but even the greatest accomplishments start with a small one. So thank you so much for helping us get our first 100 downloads as a part of this show. I love you too, buddy. Appreciate you watching the show. You're one of our greatest supporters. So yeah, that completely threw me off what I was trying to say, which is if you want to sponsor this podcast, we'd love to have you. We love our partners. We love getting positive messages out there. And so we want to support you in the same way that you support us. So Dave, on the other side of the break, 2 monuments to the craft that is mom.
Be right back.
For her. Para ellos. For them. For all of us.
For our families, we stay home. For our communities, we keep our distance. For our state and our fellow New Mexicans, we wear our masks. As New Mexicans, we're no strangers to hardship. Anytime something is put in our way, we prove that we can overcome it. The sacrifices that we make today will create a better tomorrow for all of New Mexico. Somos Unidos.
It is March 8th, 2021, and we are so happy for the first inaugural edition of Bring Your Moms to the podcast. We welcome in 2 of the most honored guests we could possibly have. Diana and Gail, thank you so much for joining us. How are you this evening?
Good. How are you?
Dave, with the very strategic shift there, that's why he's the best in the business. He wants you all to have an ease of viewing here. So my mom is directly below me. Gail is Dave's mom. Dave, I'm a little choked up. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm gonna swoop in right here while you clear your throat. Yep. Let's go ahead and mute Lucas real quick. He's muted. Okay, he's back. All right, welcome back, Lucas.
My bad. That's gross.
But yeah, excited to welcome in my mom, Gail, who, if you're watching live, you can see is right below me on the screen, and Diana, Lucas's mom, right below him on the screen. Thank you both for hanging out with us today. Going to be an exciting conversation. Going to be probably a lot of irreverence. Likely one or two embarrassing stories about Lucas, I hope. Should be fun.
Yeah, and we're going to jump right into that, Ma. But before we get started in that and your incredible story and introducing yourself to the audience, I've just got to ask, what the hell is going on with Liverpool right now? Is this a Klopp problem? Like, are we too reliant on the high line and the attacking fullbacks, and it's just become too easy to defend? Or is this a player motivation problem? And despite Klopp's best efforts,
Lucas, come on, that's a bit ridiculous. We don't need to get into technical stuff. Let's have a little bit more patience with this. Something like so, Mom, like this might be the worst Arsenal team in about 35 years. I mean, we can't seem to defend with 4 at the back. We can't seem to defend with 3 at the back. And even when we defend well, we can't seem to put anything on frame. What's the deal here?
You are asking the wrong person. You want to talk hockey? We can talk hockey, but not soccer. Okay, sorry.
Little hockey daring America on Sunday. I got to catch a few games. Hope you did as well. No, in all seriousness, as much as we love both of you, we did not bring you on to discuss the ins and outs, the X's and O's, or the things that Troy Lesane has forgotten more about than the 4 of us will ever learn. We want to hear your stories. It's International Women's Day. We can't think of 2 more important women in our lives. So let's just start with a general question for both of you. As you look back on what have been surely incredible journeys, what are some of those moments in your life that really shaped who you are today?
Ooh. Wow.
Hard hitters right off the bat.
Hey, we're new at this. Gee, Dave, I think having you was probably the most amazing moment of my life.
That's the right answer. All right, good podcast, everybody.
Wow, I can't.
I'm wanting to get invited back now.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, becoming a mom. Yeah, Lucas has an older brother, but yeah, becoming a mom was very, very changing.
Absolutely.
And then becoming grandma.
Yeah, I hear that's often the best part.
Say hi.
Yeah.
You knew she was going to get in there.
So how did that moment in your life, again, pivotal moment, each of you having multiple kids, how did that shape who you are? How did that change who you are as individuals?
Not everybody at once. I think Dave will need to.
Trying to be polite here because I could la 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 the whole time.
Okay, what we'll do from now on is we'll say someone go first. So in this instance, Gail, you go first, and then we'll kick it over to Mom.
There's, you have your life, and you're on this path, and you're doing this thing, and then you decide to have a child, and you're like, oh, this is going to be cool. I'm going to have kids, but you don't realize when you have kids, the whole track goes this way because kids are. Like they just take over in a good way, mostly in a good way.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with it. All of a sudden, what I wanted, what I needed, what I had in mind was not as important as what the kiddos needed. It was all about them.
So that's interesting. That's where we're at right now, right? And you see this glimmer. I wanna go in the time machine a little bit, right? So jump in the time machine with me. Flashback when you're entering adulthood, and I know that age varies. Ma, for you specifically, I know adulthood came a little bit sooner than 18. And Gail, I'm curious to hear your story on this front. But like, what ambitions and dreams did you have at that point? Like, who did you want to become? Did you have heroes? Did you have North Stars? Like, who were you looking up to at these times in your journey? Ma, you first.
Like you said, I kind of got out there early, and really, I didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be when I grew up. All I knew was I wanted to get married and I wanted a family, and so that's how it started. And then after that, it just kept evolving, So like I said, until I really didn't decide what I wanted to be when I grew up until I was in my 30s.
Same question to you, Mom. Obviously, you had April. For all those who don't know, April is my older sister, the oldest of the three of us. Going in prior to that, what were the hopes, dreams, guideposts, all that?
I was going to be the first in my family to go to college. And I was going to go to William and Mary because that's the only college I'd ever seen. So that's where I wanted to go. And I knew I wanted to teach. I'm a teacher. And that was just kind of a piece of me. I mean, when I was a kid and we would get together with friends and we'd play make-believe, I was the teacher. It's just what I always did. And then, fell in love, got married early, had 3 kids, got divorced, then went to college. That's the smart road to take. Yeah, everybody should try that. Yes. But going to college was just a driving force for me. I was going to do it. Come heck or high water, I was going. And so it was a long road to get there, but I did, and I'm glad. And so I've been teaching for 21 years now. And besides being a mom, because that's an awesome thing, I guess that's where I took my nurturing out the door when the kids left. And so being a teacher is just kind of a way to keep doing that.
But I want to give you a little bit more kudos than you're going to give yourself here. Going to college was always, you mentioned it's always a driving force for you. You were a single mom, raising the 3 of us for a while there, and going to community college at nights. I mean, how important was that to you?
Life was tough because when you're a single parent, it's always tough. When you're a part of a pair of parents, it's tough because parenting. But
Amen.
Exactly. But it was our lives. The 4 of us was not going to get better until I did that. I mean, because we would be in a more financially secure place. I could do something that I really loved instead of going to a job that I tolerated. And I knew I could be a role model for you guys. It's just one of those things that just had to happen.
Hey, Mom, you can't relate to that at all. And what I mean by you can't relate to it at all is because you had 2 kids instead of 3. And Gail knew she always wanted to be a teacher, and you always tried to fight against it.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a teacher. I said, I don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up, but I'm never going to be a teacher. And so then that kind of got thrown back in my face. And 3 years ago, I retired after teaching for 25 years. And I had the boys.
And you haven't even really retired.
You never really retire.
No. And I had the boys, and I worked full time just like you did. And I went to school full time just like you did. Mm-hmm. And the 3 of us made it through. And once I started, I wasn't going to stop. And I loved it. I'm just like you. I loved it. It was committed. I told the boys, we're going to do this and it's going to get better. And it did.
Yep. Mom power.
Yep.
So something that Lukas and I have noticed over the course of our friendship and in working together as well is just how similar our stories are. And you're seeing pieces of it right here. It's kind of eerie how like our backgrounds and things like that just we noticed like little things here, like, and we're going to get to some of them, I think, in the game as well. But like, there's just these eerie coincidences. And it's so weird because I grew up in South Florida and Lukas is in Eastern New Mexico, but we lived in some ways some very similar lives.
We're really on here to tell you that you're brothers.
You can tell by the forehead.
I just want to know what kind of science pulled that off, or maybe I don't know what kind of science pulled that off.
I don't want to know.
Maybe we don't open up the cracks on that. I guess that's time for a funny aside, which is why you should always be really careful with like the genetic test you take, whether that's a 23andMe or different things like that. Because there are situations that you'll get your results back and you'll be like, something's not adding up here. And I think
that's the postman.
Now that is not that I'm not putting that on you, Mom. I did not invite you on my podcast to make wild accusations.
I wasn't saying about anyone in particular.
We're talking about like 3 or 4 generations ago, someone was lying. So that's the beauty of family. Both of your stories are crazy inspirational, right? And I think they start with a heart of grit, a heart of selflessness, a heart of like making your kids' lives better. But I don't think you complete that journey. I don't think you make it through all the barriers and the roadblocks that can possibly be along the way without some champions, right? And it's unlikely that they're listening or that, you know, they tuned into this ridiculous, obscure podcast. But let's put it out into the universe. Let's make it quantum.
Not obscure. We're not obscure. We're at the #1 rated New Mexico United podcast that starts with the letter U.
Yeah. And you'll never take it from us. But along those lines, like put it out there. Who were the people that were there for you? Your champions, people that had your back. It could be a million different people, whether that's family members that you saw every day or just some random act of kindness from a stranger. Gail, why don't you take this one first?
Okay, I got big three. I grew up with my grandfather. My grandfather, he took care. I didn't live with my parents. I lived with my grandfather, and he was a World War II vet with that mindset and that honor. And he spoke to me all the time about, you know, to be anything less than what you can be is wrong, and you always make choices with honor. And that was always in my head. My grandmother, my grandmother on the other side of the family, she's another crazy person, grew up in the Dust Bowl and the Depression, kicked life in the butt. It didn't matter what came her way. She'd just buckle up and get it done. And I was always in awe of her. She was crazy nuts and just amazing. And a teacher. My 4th grade teacher, Miss Lund, saved me. Because I was heading down some bad pathways, and that woman saw what I could be and picked me up and dusted me off and said, you better stay on this path. She was my inspiration. So I was really lucky to have those people in my life.
Okay.
Ma?
My mom. She's been gone for a long time, but she did live long enough to watch me graduate with my bachelor's degree. And she was the person that every semester about midterm, I couldn't take it anymore. I wasn't going to do it anymore. I was going to quit. I was done. I was tired. And she'd say, okay, but you started this, and just go ahead and finish this semester, and then you can quit. And I honestly, every semester of college, the last 2 years, that's exactly what she did and got me through it. And she was one of the first moms to ever go back to work. Back when I was in the 5th grade, she went back to work. She juggled the house. She juggled the job. She, juggled the family. And she always told my sister and I, you have you to depend on. You always need to make sure that you take care of things and don't depend on anybody else to do that for you. Mm-hmm. So she was awesome. And then, even though I didn't want to be a teacher for a lot of years, I had 2 teachers, my 1st grade teacher and my 5th grade teacher, who were absolutely phenomenal women and the most giving, selfless people that there ever were. I had some medical problems, and after I became a teacher, I was able to look back and realize the sacrifices that they made for just little old me. So I always tried to honor them after I became a teacher. So yeah.
Well, you both mentioned not just your champions, but you mentioned like lessons they taught you, things you took away from them. How did you try to impart those lessons when you became, whether it be a mother or a teacher or a leader in some fashion? And Mom, you can go first.
I'm going to send that one back to you.
Oh, no. How did you try to impart those lessons on me?
Did I?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd be here if you hadn't, right? And the thing is, it's tough to kind of put a tactile definition on when that happened. But I always remember as a kid thinking, and not just a kid, but as an adult as well, thinking like, okay, we can, things are tough. Things may not be what you want them to be right now. And, we've got options here. We can either complain about it. We can be angry about it. We can be frustrated about it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, you're going to need to make the decision whether you're going to give up or move forward. And I think that's one of the biggest things you taught me from a young age, and something that I've kept kind of as one of my guiding posts, my North Stars, as Lucas mentioned before. It's things are not going to go the way you want often. And I think the quote that I remember from when I was a kid was "Life's tough, wear a helmet." Mom used to say that all the time. It's, that's not fair. Well, life's not fair. So you can either complain about it, you can either be sad about it, you can be upset about it, but at some point you're going to need to make the decision to either move forward and get through it or not.
That sounds like a Mike lesson.
I think it's a combination of both of you.
Powerful. Ma.
Same question to you, Diana.
Yeah, well, Lucas, I'm going to do the same thing.
It's a cheap move. It's a cheap move. I'm just now realizing, David, we have played ourselves in a strong degree. Here we were. We're like, we're gonna have a great conversation with our moms, and you know what they did? As soon as we get on here, they just hold up a mirror and they're like, "Look at yourself." And we're like, "That's not what this podcast is about. This podcast is about silliness."
But you think about it, they're both teachers.
Too.
They're both teachers, and so they're like, "Okay, we've been teaching you your entire lives. Now here's the test in front of all your friends."
Yeah, now we're gonna make you do the test in front of your friends and your family and your supporters. It's really easy with Ma. Ma had so much crap roll down the hill. I almost said our first vulgar right there, Dave, but we just had so much crap roll downhill in seeming succession. And at that point, right, you learn, whether or not you're studying it academically, you learn that the only thing you control in this world is your attitude and the way you interpret things. That, yes, like you said, you can roll over, you can complain, you can become one of those people that looks for loopholes, or you can just say, like, here's the cards that were dealt. I'm going to play myself out of this hand and see if I can get a better one on the next one. And to a degree, without her ever knowing it, and I think it's a mixture of her predominant sort of influence, but there's also outside influences, whether that's my friends that I was hanging out with, or the music that I was listening to, or the scene that I was into, that taught the importance of the hustle and the importance of, getting yours. And I never did anything that I was ashamed of or that I would be sorry to tell her about, but she did teach me, to be crafty while simultaneously being kind. And I think those are unbreakable lessons. And then that was sort of like the icing on the cake. And the actual cake was this: like, I'll never stop supporting you. And I saw it in real action, right? Like, I don't think I ever tested the full boundaries of her support for me. But I did see it in other realms where other individuals did. And it just reinforced that I knew no matter what was going to happen, like, someone was going to have my back. And I think a lot of the problems in the world that happen with myriad individuals is they just feel so dadgum alone. And despite, growing up in a high school that didn't necessarily agree with me on a lot of different fronts, or living in a community that didn't really value who we were, I never felt alone. And I think as a parent, that was like the number one thing, like, I carry forward through this day. Like, there's going to be times when I'm a jerk and I'm stressed out and I lose my temper and I'm not at my absolute best. But just know that doesn't shake, just like a supportive you that doesn't change. It's never going to change. So how's that for an answer? Are you crying now?
No, I'm doing really well.
Well, that actually kind of led me to another lesson that I wanted to hit on. And I think that was, people are going to be, it's kind of goes hand in hand with the first one, which was, things aren't always going to go your way, but, life's tough, wear a helmet. But I think the other one that kind of goes with it that I feel like I learned at a young age and kind of shaped who I was, is just kind of always be kind. And I know that's simple. I know that sounds simple, but it's crucial and a bit lacking at times in the world. People may wrong you, things may not go your way. And I saw that, with my mom, things, might not always gone her way, and people weren't always nice to her, but she was kind. And that's something that I think has shaped me.
Ma, after all that heaviness, does the U.S. men's national team ever have a chance of hoisting a World Cup in our life?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah, I think if they will pay attention and pick up those stellar United players that we're getting ready for them,
there you go.
Going on, son.
You heard it here, Berhalter. The World Cup is in the hands of United players.
Hey, I've got a question for Diana. Can you, as I don't know if it's possible to make this succinct, so don't feel obligated to at all. Describe Kid Lukas.
What a terrible question.
Wow. I knew he was going to be a drummer from the time he was little bitty, he dropped.
We haven't even started the game yet, and you take it out of the game, David.
It's out. It's out.
Okay, child Lucas. Now I'm going to ruin the whole game.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
He was absolutely the sweetest, cutest, most loving little guy ever.
Aww.
And he was. And he was.
What?
And he has not been ashamed of this as an adult, so I hope that he was a mama's boy. So
Cool.
That's fine.
you're welcome, son.
Lucas loves his mom.
That I had last. Oh, he loves his
Wait a
mom.
minute.
What a tool. Same question to you, Gail. Get me some retribution here.
There's no
Ooh,
retribution. It's just a description.
It's just a description.
Yeah.
Dave was born thinking he was king of the world. Yeah.
Turns out
No.
I have a podcast that airs every Monday. So,
There you are.
you know.
No, so okay, this is my favorite things. Kindergarten. He was at the little Lutheran kindergarten, and he came home and he says, "I know what I want to be." And I said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "I want to be a saint."
So let's go ahead and take that one out of the
What?
game. St. David, there's a church named after me. We went there.
There is.
Yeah, it's just a matter of interpretation. That is so funny because I think what happened was a regression to the mean for both of us, right? I started off, my mom is exactly right. I was tenderhearted. I was sweet. I will embarrass myself. I had to be removed from a 5th grade class because we were reading Where the Red Fern Grows Aloud, and I was inconsolable. Like, and I'm not just talking like just some little tears here. Like, I had a full-on meltdown, and they had to take me into the hallway. So there was like this sensitivity to it. And Dave, again, is like a little Machiavellian, like maniac, right? And he's running Game of Thrones in a Lutheran daycare. And somehow we both kind of meet where we're like, we're not nice, but we're kind. We're both still a little bit power hungry.
We're
but
semi-functioning members of society at this point, so I'll take that.
right. So great job, guys. Way to encourage us to be our best normal selves. I think you did the best you could. Again, I grew up in a situation where, Dave was going to be a saint. I got my first snare drum now that question's ruined, and I was like, how long till I'm the best drummer in the world? And it's like, well, it's going to be quite a while. So I love that ambition. Now I'm going to flip one on you, Dave, since you're going off script. Just so you know, out in the audience, we love to break the fourth wall. None of these questions have been planned. This is Dave just ripping. What is one of those moments? They happen. They're like snapshots. It's like in the Kodak slider or different things like that. But what is one of those moments of Dave that you can just see the visuals so clearly and like tell the story that was associated with that?
No, if I could just we're gonna just go ahead and put Mom in the backstage here. Go ahead.
Unbelievable.
Let's see, Dave moments. Okay, here's a Dave moment, and it's soccer related. So middle school soccer, he's the goalie. And it's like a playoff game, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure what story you're telling, so I don't know how to answer.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So Dave's back in the goal, first half of the game. The team's it's not good. And pretty much 99% of the action is on the other end of the field. And Dave's pissed. So it comes to halftime. So halftime, Dave comes out of the net, rips off his jersey, says to the coach, "I'm going in." And that's what he does. He gets somebody else in the goal so he can be the forward to push the team because he's pissed off because nothing's cut. Yeah, so that's the big Dave moment.
Did I score?
I think you did.
I think I did too.
Probably did. You should have been charged a price of admission. There have been a few youth games where the goalkeeper is like, "Oh my gosh, like that is this is boring. Someone should have charged me to get in here. Can I get a snow cone out here?"
That just meant I had a good midfield, is really what that meant.
That's all it meant, man. Rejoice in the moments.
All right, Diana, same question to you. A very Lucas moment, a moment that encapsulated Lucas, or at least one that you remember incredibly vividly.
Ma, just don't do a gross one. You can do any embarrassing one you want. Just don't do a gross one.
We have a rule. There's no poop jokes on this podcast.
Okay, what about the basketball game?
Sure. At least I was doing something active.
Yeah. Lukas played basketball. He didn't play soccer. And he was on a very, very good team, but he got a little salty on the court. And he was probably, I don't know, 8, 9, 10. He wasn't very old. And he was being kind of rude, and we don't do that. And so I just had to go down onto the court. When he got to the bench, I went down and informed him that if we had any more of that behavior, he was done.
Yeah. That's probably what stunted my basketball career, because Ma, you have to know that any great competitor has to have freedom of movement, freedom of thought on the court, and you just came down there and stifled it.
I did.
That's why I'm not Steph Curry.
Probably ruined your professional sports career.
The fact that you didn't let me eat sugar cereal. If you'd only let me eat sugar cereal, we would have been in a different ballgame.
Well, I find that story really interesting, because still to this day, we'll do a podcast, right? And you have those in between segments, we play video, just to kind of set everything up for the next segment. And sometimes I have to pull Lukas aside, and I'm like, if you don't perform better, we're done.
we got to improve that attitude, buddy. Yes, awesome. Thank you. Lucinda, please do not encourage her. We still have like a good 28 minutes left on this bad boy. And in fact, I want to get to the last question, Dave, that we actually had scripted out here. And then I think we want to leave a little bit of time for topsy-turvy, true or false, just because there may be some stories associated with that.
Yeah.
And I think you asked this to a certain degree, but let's just kind of like shift over 90 degrees to just a broader view, which is this: whether it be your daughters or your granddaughters, great granddaughters in your case, Ma, you're gonna make fun of me, I'm gonna make fun of you, nieces, etc. What are your hopes for the future generations of females in your family?
Ooh.
You go ahead, Gail.
Be strong. Understand that you're enough. Don't feel like you have to be in a relationship because you're looking for another half. There is no other half. You're whole.
Dang.
Well, she kind of took the words right out of my mouth. Just, and that's what my mom said. You take care of you. You prepare to be who you are. And I do. I want them to be strong, and I want them to believe in themselves and not let anybody else tell them who they are.
Damn straight.
I love that.
And write down all the stories about your sons in case you're on their podcast later.
Exactly. Like nowadays they can take videos.
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah, all mine are socially media documented. Like my kids stand no chance. This has been incredibly fun. I'm sure there are some individuals in the audience that are like, is the embarrassment over for David and Lukas yet? The answer is no. After the break, we're going to come back, and I'll set this game up just so you know. It's topsy-turvy, true or false. What this basically means is I wrote out a series of true or false statements about myself. Dave did the same, right? I am going to be reading on behalf of David to my mom, Diana. David will be reading on behalf of me to Gail. You guys will have to answer true or false questions about the son you didn't have. But thank God we had this highly embarrassing 25-minute conversation because you were able to glean some clues out of this.
And also we had to throw out a few of the questions.
Thanks.
Maybe we can make up our own.
Also, what I've recognized for those of you watching live here from this first section is that I need to get my mom some more New Mexico United merch.
You know how much I have?
None.
Oh, no.
And I was going to wear Columbus Crew, but I knew that would not be appropriate.
Yeah, I don't think we have any relationship with the crew.
Don't feel bad. I didn't give my mom any either. She just stole it out of my house when she was up here watching my kids.
All right. Well, Mom, you can come visit and steal things out of my house.
Awesome.
All right. We'll be right back with Topsy Turvy, True or False.
For her. Para ellos. For them. For all of us.
For our families, we stay home. For our communities, we keep our distance. For our state and our fellow New Mexicans, we wear our masks. As New Mexicans, we're no strangers to hardship. Anytime something is put in our way, we prove that we can overcome it. The sacrifices that we make today will create a better tomorrow for all of New Mexico. Somos Unidos.
We are back, third and final segment, episode 3 of United Sessions. Thank you so much for joining us. AJ Applegarth would like you to know that he loves you, Ma. Hello, AJ. I hope you're well, brother. That's an old youth group friend. So hope you and your family are doing super well. Well,
Love you, AJ.
let's put a little fine form on the embarrassment of me and Dave. At least we can control the narrative a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a little topsy-turvy, true or false. As I explained before the break, that means that I will be reading questions about David, Mom, and you will tell me if they are true or false. Vice versa for Gail and David. He will read about me. Again, like we said, there's probably some clues. There's probably some things in here. I will try and edit, Dave, but it's very real likelihood that I will read one. There will be no cheating, Chanel. We see there will be no cheating from anyone involved in the chat. Especially if you're trying to reach my mom. She is so honed in right now on staying in this podcast. There's no way she's going to check social media. So don't even try and cheat. So Dave, I don't know if we should do a coin flip for this. I don't know how we divvy up who gets to go first here.
Well, first I want to see. We should put some stakes on this. I think.
Okay.
Let's say my mom.
Are there prizes?
There you go.
Maybe for me and Dave.
If your mom wins, Lucas, I will send her one item from the New Mexico United shop.
Great.
If my mom wins, you send her one item from the New Mexico United shop. I can already tell you what my mom will want. I think it'll probably be the New Mexico United yoga mat. That would be my guess.
Ooh.
She was doing calisthenics in the break, and she didn't think I could see her, but I could.
It's a fine yoga mat, Gail. I just purchased one for a friend of mine. Fine mat.
Thank you.
We'll have to figure that out. So whoever's mom wins that gets to take something home.
I don't want a yoga mat.
You're not going to get a yoga mat. You're going to get another cape or something, you ridiculous woman.
You can never have too many capes.
I just thought I would throw that out there.
All right, Dave.
All right. So yeah, I'll start first. Okay. So Mom, this question is for you. It is about Lucas Cash. It's true or false?
Okay.
All right. True or false? Lucas Cash won a Young Archers Award in elementary school.
True.
Nah.
Any story behind that, Lucas?
I think I told you. I think I told you, Dave, as we were forming these questions, the way I chose my false ones was awards that other annoying people I grew up with got. And I just remember that archery kid coming in and acting like he was freaking Robin Hood or something, like won a Boy Scouts archery tournament. But no, I have not done that. I think the only time I tried to shoot a bow, I hit myself in the forearm so hard with the string that I never wanted to try it again. So
that makes sense. All right. So first question. Go ahead.
Ma,
Yes.
David performed a Shel Silverstein poem at the elementary school talent show that was incredibly inappropriate for the setting. I'll repeat that because I garbled it. David performed a Shel Silverstein poem at the elementary school talent show that was incredibly inappropriate for the setting.
True.
That is true. That is true. Good work, Mom. Good work. It looks like you picked up enough on David's personality. David, what poem was that?
Was that the
inappropriate?
Lutheran school as well?
Yeah, that was the Lutheran school. Do you remember that, Mom?
I gave you a chance to water the plants. Not that way. Now zip up your pants.
I just walked on stage, said that into the microphone full of Lutheran kids, and walked off stage. And they didn't like that.
And all the teachers gave me that look.
Yep.
Yes.
I like Shel Silverstein. He's a great poet.
1-0 to my ma.
All right. Here we go. Similar question.
Okay.
True or false? Lucas performed a stirring rendition of the Boys to Men hit "End of the Road" at an elementary school talent show.
Is this another one of those that you're jealous that somebody else did?
Or is it one of those situations where me and David's life are eerily similar? It could be
I'm
one.
going to say true because that sounds way too specific.
It is true. Lucas or Diana, you want to tell that story?
Okay, it was precious.
we were third graders, and this is an era that is like archaic to like my kids, but we had to cut a backup track for it, but none of us could get it to record properly off of the radio, and also there were lyrics in it. So we made the decision, why don't we just hum the beat and the lyrics? And so we had a tape recorder, and we're like,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you win?
I don't know that there were winners and losers. I think that was the start of the new era. Like, just the fact that you did it is a win.
Yeah. Participation award.
I remember that same year that I read that wonderful poem. Pretty much everybody did that song, "My Heart Will Go On" from Titanic. It was "My Heart Will Go On," "My Heart Will Go On," Shel Silverstein poem about urination, "My Heart Will Go On."
And if you want to mix in my really artsy older brother, at some point in a talent show, he sang
Yes,
"Tears
Chanel.
from Heaven" from Eric Clapton at one of his talent shows. So just a wide berth from there. What a wild era that was.
So you will sing in a future podcast then?
No.
No, absolutely not.
No, I will sing one of my spoof songs. David can tell you I do love to write silly spoof songs, so I may do that at some point, but never where I'm actually like, listen to me be a good singer, because that would be awful.
So here's the thing, though. He actually is talented. I've heard those spoof songs, and they actually like require talent. He's on the piano. He's singing. He has this song that I don't think the general public has heard, and it's about our players. It's so good. It's so good.
I know it's good because people quote it randomly here and there. Speaking of random singing, Mom, yes. David Carl was the lead in a High School Musical 3 times. True or false?
False.
Dang, she called. Dave. She's got you pegged.
Yeah, she called out the lead in a High School Musical.
Knows how to read you.
One time. And I don't even know if you could call it a lead. What it was the show Bye Bye Birdie, the classic. Everybody knows Bye Bye Birdie. I was Conrad Birdie, which you could say, you could say it's a lead because like it's the title character, but really it's just the guy who doesn't have many lines. And he's like, "Hey, baby." So it was like Johnny Bravo on stage. Did
it satisfy your megalomania that dated back to daycare?
I don't think it was. I mean, okay, Mom's nodding, so never mind.
No, we had posters made. Remember the posters? There were these posters, and they got stolen. They stole the posters.
Yeah. So those posters were a prop for the actual show because Conrad Birdie is a musician, right? And Lucas is laughing uncontrollably.
Oh, I thought you were making posters to tell people to come watch Dave.
No. They were a prop. But yeah, somebody took them. Somebody took those things.
Oh, I'm still just going to believe that was Dave. Come and watch my show hype. All right, I think it's on you, homie.
This is taking a turn. Okay. Lucas Cash, here's a question for you.
For me?
True or false? No, for my mom about Lucas Cash. True or false? Lucas Cash played organized soccer until he was a freshman in high school.
I'm going to say false because basketball.
Correct.
Yeah, he's not particular. I mean, look at him. Come on.
Dave got one away. So.
Bro, you let me know when you want to catch these handles, Dave. I'll humiliate you.
Hey, see me on the soccer pitch. Let's go.
No, I will not. I'll hold the ball at the other end of the pitch and wait till you yell at one of your teammates so you can come be the forward, and then I'll just go shoot it in on the open goal.
Hey, we went to Zuni Pueblo for one of the Somos Unidos Foundation things this year, and me and David Estrada, Isaiah, Quinn, Chanel, and a couple of the folks over at Zuni, we played a game of knockout.
You lost.
No, I won. I won.
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me to pick what I thought was most likely. All right. Dave, it's on me, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's get a score recap, Lucas, because I've lost track.
We're on 2-2, but we're a little bit off.
No, I think Mom. Wait. Oh yeah, it's 2-2.
I missed the first one.
Right. So this is your mom has answered 3 questions. She's 2 for 3. My mom has answered 2 questions. She's 2 for 2. Okay. Here we go, Ma.
Okay.
David was once lapped by multiple athletes when he was forced to run the 1,600 meter at an 8th grade track meet.
Okay, repeat the question, please.
David was once lapped, meaning another athlete completed a full lap and then passed him again when he was forced to run the 1,600 meter. That's 4 times around, just so you know, at an 8th grade track meet.
False.
No, that one's true.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was not a track athlete at all. I played soccer, I played tennis, and I think I tried track for like a week. And turns out, not very good at it. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the 1,600 meters, that's slightly more than like 100 meters by a little bit. And so the so the cap gun goes off to start the race, and I just sprint. I just go. And I was in first for a little bit until reality set in, and I was feeling really good about myself. And then I was, oh man, I'm getting tired, and I still got 2.5 more laps to go here, and they just, that was not good. I was so mad by the end of that. I was furious. I almost didn't finish. I did finish. It was just significantly later than everybody else.
Okay.
Uplifting story, Dave.
That was great.
2-2.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We got to get rid of that one. All right, here we go. This is a fun one. True or false? Lucas Cash took a gap year and drove a commercial truck between high school and college.
Ooh. True.
It is false.
Oh, man.
I'm a really good liar, Gail. Real good.
I keep watching your face, but it's not working.
Poker face.
Mom's got a poker face.
Poker face. Yeah, Mom, you really helped out a lot with that one. You could have given that away.
because I just wanted to start laughing.
Can you imagine Lucas driving a commercial truck? Come on.
I think I drove a tractor into the side of one of our houses or one of our like storage units. So it was like, Jesus Christ, no, don't let this guy get behind a big time wheel.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 4 answered by my mom.
It's
She's
2.
got 2.
It's 2's across the board. We're
3
back on
answered
3rd.
by your mom. She's got 2. So, Mom, my mom's only gonna have 1 question left to answer. Your mom's still got 2 left to answer.
Ooh.
All right.
Dave's buying me a yoga mat.
Well, you got to get something right here.
All right, you ready? You ready, Mom?
I'm ready.
As a child, David was pepper sprayed in the face.
True.
Gail, you gave it away, Gail.
Where's your poker face, Mom? Oh my gosh.
I can't blame you. For those of you that are listening later in the week, Gail just 100% gave that bad boy away. Also, the fact that it's ridiculous. Who pepper sprays a child in the face?
Well, Mom, you want to answer that question?
Oh, absolutely. He pepper sprayed himself in the face. So I got pepper spray because I needed, So I told the kids, this is
We
what
didn't live in the best neyborhood. We didn't live in the best neighborhood. Go ahead.
This is pepper spray. It will hurt you. Don't touch it. Dave sprays himself in the face. And he's laying on the floor. Am I going to die? It was terrible. It was really terrible.
Dang, if we could not have cell phone videos transported back to that area. I would give so much money for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you hadn't told me like what it was, and if you hadn't told me to leave it alone, I would have left it alone. It was the intrigue was there because you told me not to touch it.
Dave, I know you're a big Abram Cash fan, dude. He is roaring in the background right now. He's like a minute and a half behind us, and he is dying.
So apparently, according to the chat, so is Chanel Weesey. So that's fun for me. All right, so that one was true. So that's 3 points, Mom. You need to get this to stay in the game.
Okay.
All right. True or false? Lucas Cash played on a competitive Mario Kart team at the age of 30.
True.
Clutch.
She's still in it.
I'm not proud of it.
Give that
I'm
away.
not proud of it. But
You should be proud of it.
What? You're competitive.
That's
we had headsets, and we're like, hey, does anyone have a blue shell? Take them out in front. And it was like other 30-year-old dudes, and we were probably playing like 12-year-olds, and we were like, hey, this guy's a real pain in the butt. Let's see if we can isolate him. It's so warlike, so embarrassing, so many hours wasted.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I need you to bring it home, okay?
I know.
Poker face, Mom. Poker face.
Okay, I got this.
Dave played organized soccer after realizing he was really bad at baseball and played through high school.
True.
Booyah. Bye, Dave. Enjoy your yoga mat, Gail.
I was really bad at baseball, like real bad. Like it was fun.
Well, no, tell them about the Grand Slam.
I got that one right, didn't I?
You
You
did.
did. We won, Mom.
good.
We won.
You won.
Okay. Oh, then she can give Gail her soccer mat or her yoga mat.
Mom, I'll still
figure
send you
that
a
out.
yoga mat, Mom.
But you send to Dave what you want from him, and he will furnish it toot sweet.
There you go. There you go.
Today's time for everybody.
So yeah, Mom asked about my Grand Slam. That was it like a little single down the right field line? Oh, there's a cat. A little single down the right field line, and as is the case in youth baseball, the ball was just thrown everywhere except where it needed to go. So I just kept running. The bases were loaded, and I just kept running without any knowledge of where the ball was. It ended up being a Grand Slam. Best moment of my life.
It's like a 4-error, 5-error. It was so much fun.
Chaos is a ladder, David, and you learned how to climb it early.
I wanted to ask. You've already won this one, Diana, but I wanted to ask one more question.
Okay.
True or false, Mom? Lukas was once lapped by multiple athletes when he was forced to run the 1600 meter at a 9th grade track meet.
False.
It's true.
I'm telling you, there are eerie similarities. Ma, do you remember it? I'll remember this.
Wow.
Like I took a lot of L's growing up in my sporting career. Okay, like it may come as a shock to a lot of you. I hope it's an inspiration to you. You can look like me and still take a lot of L's. Okay, like this happens in life.
I'm shocked by that.
You should be, right? This paradigm of athletic excellence. But most of the time she was mostly just like, buck up and go clean the chicken house. Like that was the response to it. But dude, after I got that beat down at track and meet, she was like, let's just go ahead and take it easy the rest of the day. That's a rough one. And like that almost made it worse. Like you're being way nicer to me. Like this is the devastating diagnosis of my athletic ability.
That's kind of what happened when I sprayed myself in the face with pepper spray. So yeah.
I did feel pretty bad there.
It happens. Unfortunately, for some insane, bizarre reason, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't know why you guys think it. You just, we try and keep you safe, or try and tell you to do stuff, and don't do this, and then turn around and there you are doing it. So yeah.
Well,
Listen to
safety
your
was
mom.
always a particular worry of yours, Ma.
What?
Safety always at top of mind. I remember the worst practical joke we ever played on you that one of us was hurt, and we never did it again. Like you went full mama bear on this one. Like that's not even remotely funny. And even though I'm still guilty of thinking things are funny that are not, one of the things is you never pretend like you're hurt or someone else is hurt, because that's a serious situation. And on that ridiculous note of this ridiculous palooza, we're getting close to time. And what we typically do on the end of the show is we have a little wrap up with all of our guests, go through, our favorite part. Then we'll do some goodbyes. We'll do some house cleaning. But for now, as the champion of Topsy Turvy, True or False, Ma, what was your favorite part of tonight's podcast? Besides actually getting logged in when I finally walked you through it.
I was going to say, I got on. I now know how to copy on an Apple.
It's 2021. It's brand new era.
Yeah, who'd have thought? I can't really just pick one specific. I loved what you said about what you learned from me. Yeah, that was.
Oh, Lukas loves
Stop!
his mom.
I don't want to cry. Go. Somebody else's turn.
Mom, same question.
I'm excited to be on this with you, to be part of your world here for an hour. It's pretty awesome.
You're always part of my world, Mom.
Just from far, far, far away.
Yeah, Mom lives in Ohio.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's far.
Gives
That's
us
why I don't have any stuff, soccer stuff.
Yeah, if you lived in New Mexico and I still didn't get you anything, I'd be really failing as a son.
That's right. I can essentially just chuck it on the back of a red hawk and he flies it down to Ma. So The Mexico style. Dave, what was your favorite part tonight, brother?
I mean, just the opportunity to kind of dive in a little bit more, with our moms here. We've known them our entire lives, literally. And I think it's it's a little bit, it shouldn't be, but it's rare to talk about, what their drivers were before we existed as human beings. It's not something that I think we get into very often. And I think that's an important conversation, and frankly, an interesting and enlightening conversation. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too. All jokes aside, all embarrassing moments aside, I think New Mexico United has always functioned as a family. And so I hope the United family just got particular joy out of that. I won't speak for you, Dave, but for me, like, I wear all that stuff proudly. That's all stepping stones to where I got today.
Absolutely.
And so I guess really my favorite part of the show is just this reinforcement that we're humans, man. We're humankind. And despite the fact that you grew up in South Florida and I grew up in Eastern New Mexico, we share so many narrative points that have just made our relationship so much richer. And it's not just me and you, man. It's generational. We look at the strong women who raised us, and we look at the experiences that we had. And you have to think, to a certain degree, those are the forces that draw individuals together. So not to get too Dave fanboy, which I tend to do from time to time, but it's just a reminder of how good and fortuitous and serendipitous life can be in bringing important people into your life that you need to have in your life. So that's where I'll leave my point. Dave, do you want to clean house for us a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just, before that, I do want to, one other point that I really, really enjoyed about this entire thing, and something, we can all take the advice, everybody listening or watching on the live stream, the advice of these two incredible women, because they are that. And it's just, it's International Women's Day, but it's good advice for everybody, regardless of who you are. That you are a whole person. You don't need to rely on a person to become something better than you are. That life is tough. Wear a helmet. Like these are important things to remember in your life, regardless of who you are. So really, really grateful for that. And let's get to the house cleaning. But member of the Brellis Podcasters Guild. Sorry.
So BPG.
Yeah, we like them. They like us. They're cool. They support local. We support local. So if you're interested in starting a podcast, they will take you through every single piece of it. They are experts in the field. They know their stuff. Just great folks over there. So we really recommend them. Also, rate, subscribe, all those kind of fun things. If you like us, if you don't like us, don't do that, because it would make us look bad, and we don't want that. So thank you all for listening to us and hanging out. And if you are interested in sponsoring the podcast, whether that be a particular segment, like the game segment that we do every single time, it's a little different game every single time. Whether you're interested in being sponsor of the entire podcast, whatever you want to do, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on. I think that's it for the house cleaning.
That's it. Gail, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for putting Dave on this earth. I give him a hard time. I make fun of him. I laugh really hard when I think he made himself promotional posters. But I think that's just the nature of me and his relationship. So again, it was wonderful to meet you. I can't wait to talk with you more. And hopefully it's either in a trip from us to Ohio or a trip for you down to New Mexico for us to spend a little time together.
And likewise to Diana. Diana, thank you. Lucas, one of my favorite people on this planet. We are brothers in many ways, including forehead size. So thank you for bringing Lucas to earth. I wear a hat for a reason. Thank you for bringing Lucas to earth. Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to hopefully at some point getting to meet you in person. We do trips out to Eastern New Mexico from time to time, not very often, but we'll get out there.
I come to Albuquerque.
Let's do it.
It was great.
301, we'll meet up.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
It was.
Mom,
It was
say bye
great.
to the black and yellow family.
What?
I said, say bye to the black and yellow family.
My black and yellow family. So
Bye.
much.
We are united.